Tony D here with a screenwriter's rant. Little Jones asleep on the couch, and this is Umma, starring, what is her name? Sandra Oh, I believe her name is. Yes, Sandra Oh, as a Korean woman who is haunted by her own mother. Her own dead mother comes back to haunt her in a very creepy movie. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Please check out my books. Links in the description. Comedy horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys, books 1 through 8. Yes, there's 8 books now. The link's right down below if you'd like to check it out. Thank you for checking it out. Kindle Unlimited is free, and I still get paid, and I can give little Joan treats. And believe me, she eats a lot of treats. All right, let's get into this. Umma, I guess it's Korean for mom or mama. And this is Sandra Oh, and she is now a mother. She has a daughter, and this is kind of almost, it's like a horror movie based on the mother-daughter dynamic, almost, where Sandra Oh had a terrible relationship with her mother, who was Korean, and, or they're all Korean, and she dies, the mother dies, and she had abandoned her, and someone shows up with her ashes and her belongings, like, this is her, see what kind of daughter abandons her own mother. And this, this guy shows up, I guess he's a lawyer or whatever, gives her a suitcase with her mother's ashes and belongings and final resting place things to do. She doesn't want to do it, and there's a picture of the mother. And she gets mad and buries the picture and the ashes one day in a huff, which seems to be a really dumb thing to do in a horror movie. So here she is dumping the ashes in there. And see, she just throws it in the hole. And of course they spill out, and you see the dust fly, and there it is there. That seems like the dumbest thing you could possibly do in a Korean horror movie, but Korean being Korean in nature, not Korean made, I don't think. And so naturally she is haunted by her mother, who then starts appearing to her, and is she going crazy or is it real? And of course she feels like she's turning into her mother. There's this scene, I think her eyes start to, like, I don't know, they play that like crunching sound effect that they play, like she's being transformed. I didn't really see a transformation in that shot, but so I'm not sure what the sound refers to. Is her face changing into her mother? But of course the mother and daughter relationship is strained, although it seems very friendly in the beginning of the trailer. And they run some kind of orchard / honeybee farm thing, and then the daughter gets mad. I mean, you can pretty much write this, right? It's called Umma, I believe Korean for mother, written and directed by Iris K. Shim, and starts March. Yeah, see, she's starting to transform into her mother. Exclusively in movie theaters March 18th. This is from Sony Pictures. A mother's love never dies. Well, that's true. I don't know why you would make a horror movie tagline out of it, but it is kind of a good premise, because it's a Korean culture thing that you here's her with the her anger will grow as long as she remains in this box. It's a cultural thing from a Korean standpoint. You can see she's devastated. She's having a tough time with the death of her mother. She didn't get along. And this is a dynamic between a lot of mothers and daughters, right? They kind of fight like cats and dogs, especially when the daughter's in her teens. And, I've heard that. I've heard that from a lot of people over the years, and I've seen it. Not that I have a daughter, but, for women growing up, it's awfully very contentious in their teenage years. It's kind of contentious for the boys too, but in a different way. I think for guys, it's more of a competitive kind of thing. They're more trying to go out on their own more, and it's away from the parents. So it's not, they get into trouble, but it's not like For the women, I think it's like, who's queen bee of the house I think that's kind of the battle. And so first act, her and her daughter get along great, and they raise honeybees and harvest honey, and they've got a neat little farm and orchard here. Can't tell what kind of farm it is, what kind of trees. I want to say peach trees, maybe? It seems a little deserty for peaches, though. Hard to tell from this picture, but maybe the orchard isn't operational anymore. Maybe oranges, I would say, if it's California, but it looks awfully dry. So I'm not sure. It looks almost like olives, really. I mean, could it be olives? Do they grow olives out west? Does this take place out west? Doesn't really say. So the first act, all is well. They're getting along great. And then, boom, the grandmother, the mother of Sandra Oh, dies. And, see how happy they are? And then this car shows up, and that's an apparent no-no for the bees. And she gets the suitcase. And it's devastating, right? So this is the beginning of the second act. It's just absolutely devastating. She changes almost immediately. So Sandra Oh is acting the hell out of this. She really is. Because, or maybe it's too big of a change. I don't know. She eventually throws this dude out, keeps the stuff. And the daughter's just like, "What's that, Mom?" And this starts to tear apart their relationship rather quickly. Who is this person? She never wanted her to know. But then she eventually has to tell her, "That's your grandmother." She didn't want her to know her because, I don't know, she was a bad person or whatever. And then she starts seeing her everywhere. So there's a creepy scene where she lifts up. She sees her mother through the netting of the, what do you call that? The beekeeper outfit. And then as she lifts it, she appears. So that's kind of creepy. But it's also very dark. A lot of dark scenes in this movie. Then she buries the mother's ashes. And that, of course, sets the ghost off. And the next thing you know, through the second act, she's being haunted. She's seeing her everywhere. She's trying not to become her mother, whatever that means. And then Golden Globe Award winner. And then this thing, is that like a Korean monster from Legend? It's kind of cool. Kind of cool. And it just gets tense and tense and tense. And then what happens? Well, they either defeat the mother's ghost or she becomes it. It's a horror movie, so it could go either way. If I had to spitball it, she starts to become her mother, but then fights it off at the end and manages to patch things up with her daughter, but the spirit is somewhere kind of thing, so it's sort of a draw. I think that's where it's headed. It looks pretty creepy. It is a rather personal thing, the mother-daughter thing, so that anchors it in a cool reality. It's also a whole Korean angle, which I like because you get to learn about other cultures and how they handle spirits and ghosts, and it's often very different. I wrote a screenplay using a Chinese vampire, and the Chinese vampires are different. It's very interesting when you read about them. There's all sorts of vampires and ghouls and ghosts and all sorts of creatures in the mythos of each and every culture. So if they explore that, I think this could be, at least I'll find it interesting. I mean, the fox to me looks like a monster that may be part of that culture. I don't know. Where's the fox? I can never find a good still when I want to wrap up. So, yeah, it kind of depends. And there's the lawyer. All the stops. I couldn't find him. And there's Sandra. Let's end on Sandra. Maybe it is oranges because she's got oranges in the background. So maybe it's an orange grove. But yeah, so that part of it's very interesting. Beyond that, I mean, it's a very tight cast. It only looks to be about 3 or 4 people in this whole movie. You got Sandra, obviously the main character, her daughter, the ghost, the lawyer. That's it. That's it. It's not a lot of people. So it's a very low budget movie. So I don't know. Feels like more like a rental to me, unless unless the accolades start rolling in. Yeah, appears to be solid though. I would, in a realm of horror, I think this will probably be very watchable. I think the key to a movie like this is probably all in the ending. I don't know how you could come up with a shocking ending for this, other than she turns into her mother and, the daughter is forever trapped in their little orchard forever. Like that to me would probably be the most shocking ending you can come up with. But I don't think it's going down that direction. You could maybe explore the relationship. The whole thing's a metaphor for the relationship between the mother-daughter, and then maybe reveal that Sandra Oh really does have some problems she's ignored, and then comes to terms with them, and then that drives the spirit of her evil mother away, and they reconcile, and then they get the hell out of there. And then the Korean mother spirit is forever trapped in the orchard alone. I don't know. Yeah. So, Umma, March 18th. Let's see if there's any other intel here. There's nothing scarier than becoming your mother. Watch Sandra Oh live the nightmare. It's a bit harsh for moms. Produced by Sam Raimi. So, that's both good and bad, because I still haven't forgiven Sam Raimi for Drag Me to Hell and the ridiculously high score Rotten Tomatoes gave it. Does Sam Raimi have pictures of the guys at Rotten Tomatoes? I don't know. Anyhow, I gotta wrap it here. That's it for me, Tony D. Little Jones asleep on the couch. Please check out our other videos on Bitchute, Rumble, and Odysee. Sorry for the late videos. Lots of stuff to do. My taxes are done. So we'll see you bright and early tomorrow.